then I'm going to open it up. We'll see what some of the folks who are on the live chat have. But what's the best criticism you've gotten from ISOM 1, and how did you apply it, if any, to your ongoing work?
Yeah, I think the one that got me, and I will say I will credit Chuck for this. There are certain things, and Chuck Dixon that is, because and the first bit I got of this is actually coming out of another story, and then applying that to kind of ISOM 1. But the way he approaches storytelling is like, yeah, you can have this layout and draft or whatever, you kind of where that you want to take the story. But even if it's such a small, rather, even if it seems kind of insignificant thing, that needs to be either, number one, expanded on, or completely swapped out, there's no like sacrifice there, and you don't just kind of run with it. It's like, hey, okay, here's this thing here. I can't make this make sense. Let's try to make it make sense, and maybe we just change out. It could be something as minor as a simple motivation for a particular character. And I'm not saying minor like motivation's minor. I'm saying like a minor like, okay, this character, you could get to that end game, right, of what this is how the character's acting out on that motivation, right? But it is very important on that middle part and like how they're getting there, that vehicle, if you will. So if there was one thing that I would have changed, probably not necessarily changed, but I probably would have added to the page count. ISOM 2 was 112 pages. ISOM 1, it easily could have been that. It was that conflict that happened between Alpha Core and Yaira. What I would have done was probably added a couple of more pages to have that. Yeah, we're picking up where we left off at some point with that story. But I think ISOM 1 could have used just a tad bit more perspective for those characters, especially with them being the next book it is that we're kind of coming out with. What I would have done if changed, if any, was you had that conflict that they had with Yaira. I would have spelled that out maybe a little bit more with her getting knocked down the block, right? That way it's more easily explained because she runs in the ISOM because of that. So I would have probably shown that. If I added pages. But I also would have I would have loved to have some another kind of interaction there when Brian tells her, hey, you were told not to return. So it's more adding addition to that, so I could kind of give perspective. It doesn't need much. I wouldn't have had to need like 5-10 pages. Even a couple, I think, would have given a little bit more perspective. But that's the thing about this industry, is that you don't want to have fluff, right? So that was one of the things that I was always afraid of. I was like, hey, with the first book, like, okay, I don't want to spend too much time doing this. I need to get kind of to the point. So it's that balance of, you don't want to give too much, but you also don't want to give too little. So if there was anything, I don't want to say change, I don't necessarily regret it. And yeah, we could pick up where we left off, but just to give more perspective on that conflict between the Alpha Core and Yaira, definitely setting up the next books, I would have added just a couple of more pages there for sure.
Cool.